Welcome to Nation of Glory. For years, Roman Reigns has stood as the unshakable foundation of WWE, the man whose presence could shift an arena's energy long before his music even hit. But now, as 2025 unfolds, a single question ripples across the entire wrestling world: is Roman Reigns leaving WWE? This question isn't just a rumor whispered in the corners of social media, it's a genuine concern echoing through fan communities, podcasts, backstage reports, and live audiences across the globe. It sits heavy in the minds of millions who watched him dominate, fall, rise again, transform into the tribal chief, redefine what it means to be a champion, and then vanish from the top spot he once controlled without challenge. To understand whether he's leaving, you need to understand what has brought him to this crossroads, what pressures surround his future, what the company expects, what his family legacy demands, and what Roman himself might be trying to protect as he looks toward the next chapter of his life. Roman Reigns is not just a WWE superstar, he is a brand, a movement, and a cultural force. His influence doesn't stop at the ring. It extends into Hollywood conversations, major endorsement discussions, family responsibilities, and internal conflicts that outsiders rarely see. The path leading him into 2025 is full of moments that feel like highs and lows woven together with intensity, pressure, triumph, sacrifice, and uncertainty. To the fans who have been watching since day one, this moment feels like a story entering its most dramatic turning point. For years, WWE relied on him as the unbeatable cornerstone, the champion who held the company steady through a chaotic era, the leader who carried the main event scene like a burden only he could manage. But every burden eventually demands its price. In the early months of 2025, something changed. Roman Reigns stepped away more frequently, appearing only on selective schedules, prioritizing his personal life more than ever before, and avoiding the constant grind of weekly travel. While some fans believed this was simply the next evolution of his part-time superstar status, others began to speculate that something far larger was happening behind the scenes. Roman's silence added fuel to the fire. His absence didn't feel like a casual break. It felt like a pause before a major shift, a transition that even the company was tiptoeing around. WWE's storytelling around him became vague, referencing him as a looming presence, a legend who might return at any moment, yet whose future was deliberately kept in the shadows. These shadows grew darker when internal whispers started spreading online, claims that Roman might be considering stepping away from WWE altogether, perhaps not permanently, but long enough to redefine the trajectory of both his career and personal life. And while most wrestling rumors flare up for a moment before fading, this one refused to disappear. It persisted. It evolved. It intensified. It became a national conversation among fans who refused to believe that the tribal chief could ever truly walk away from his own island. But the truth is layered and complex, shaped by a combination of physical wear, emotional demand, family tradition, and a changing entertainment landscape. Roman has done what very few performers have achieved. He dominated an era so completely that entire storylines, pay-per-views, and business decisions revolved around him. He became the face of the company for nearly a decade. But dominance of that level comes with a price that fame cannot hide. The constant grind of the wrestling lifestyle, the physical battles, the injuries he pushed through silently, the toll of long-term travel, and the pressure of leading one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world all leave marks that audiences never fully see. By the time Roman entered 2025, he was not the same man who conquered WrestleMania after WrestleMania, who reigned as champion longer than any modern superstar, who stood tall in every arena with the confidence of an immortal leader. Instead, he was a man who had taken countless hits across his body, each one a reminder of how much he had sacrificed. And behind the scenes, those closest to him understood something that fans were only beginning to realize. Roman Reigns has reached a point where longevity matters as much as legacy. And when longevity becomes the priority, difficult decisions begin to rise. In interviews leading into 2025, Roman spoke subtly about reevaluating his future. He didn't declare intentions, didn't announce plans, but he hinted at something deeper, a reflection of someone weighing the gravity of what comes next. He talked about wanting to be present for his family, wanting to protect his health, wanting to choose the projects he works on rather than being consumed by a constant schedule. These weren't the words of a man who was hungry to continue an endless reign. They were the words of a man who had already cemented his chapter in history and was now deciding how to preserve the quality of his life beyond the ring. The entertainment industry outside WWE noticed Roman's versatility long before these discussions. Hollywood had been following his rise, evaluating his appeal, recognizing that he brought something different, an intensity mixed with charisma that was both powerful and controlled. In 2024 and early 2025, Roman's name appeared in casting conversations, action film proposals, and strategic entertainment opportunities. While nothing official confirmed he was transitioning into a full acting career, the opportunities were undeniably there. And for someone who has already conquered the wrestling world, the temptation of exploring new challenges grows stronger with time. Yet this question, is Roman leaving WWE, cannot be answered without examining the emotional roots that tie him to the wrestling industry. Roman is part of the legendary Anoa'i family, one of the most influential lineages in wrestling history. Wrestling is not just a job for him, it's his bloodline, his heritage, his duty, and his identity. Leaving WWE is not a simple career decision for someone born into the traditions, expectations, and bonds that come with being part of such a storied dynasty. He carries the legacy of family members who carved their names into history long before he arrived. While fans see Roman as the head of the table, he sees himself as one piece of a much larger legacy, and that connection makes stepping away far more emotional than it might appear. As 2025 continues to unfold, WWE is equally aware of how crucial Roman Reigns is to the structure of its narrative. Even when he is absent, the company uses his name as a symbol of dominance, influence, and storytelling depth. His legacy shapes characters, affects rivalries, molds future champions, and influences the trajectory of the entire Bloodline saga. If Roman were to depart, temporarily or permanently, the company would face massive narrative shifts. Entire storylines would need restructuring. Young superstars would need elevation. And while WWE has always rebuilt after losing major names, Roman's departure would mark one of the most significant transitions in the modern era. But the question remains, is he leaving? The closest reflection of truth lies somewhere in the balance between his loyalty, his exhaustion, his dreams, and his responsibilities. Roman isn't walking away from WWE forever. But he is stepping into a new chapter where he chooses involvement on his own terms. He is not the full-time warrior he once was. He is not the constantly present tribal chief holding the company on his shoulders. Instead, he is becoming a figure who appears strategically, who makes moments feel larger by being selective, who preserves his health while still shaping the future of the industry. Roman Reigns is not leaving WWE. He is evolving beyond the grind of constant matches and embracing a schedule that aligns with his new priorities. 2025 is not his exit, it is his transformation. It is the year where he transitions into a legendary presence rather than a weekly performer. It is the year where he protects his legacy rather than risks diminishing it through overexposure or injury. It is the year where he balances being a father, a husband, a performer, a potential actor, a family icon, and a global superstar. Fans may fear his absence, but his absence is not the ending, it is the preparation for a new era. Roman Reigns knows exactly what he means to WWE. He knows the power of his return. He knows the magnitude of his story. And he knows that stepping back strategically gives him the ability to create even larger moments in the future. This evolution is not a retreat. It is a calculated move by a man who built a dynasty and now chooses to protect the empire he created. Roman Reigns will return when he wants, how he wants, and on the terms that suit his vision for the future. The tribal chief does not walk away from his throne, he simply chooses when to appear before his people. And as 2025 continues, one truth remains stronger than any rumor: Roman Reigns is not finished. He is simply redefining dominance for the next chapter of his story. And while fans continue to speculate, search for answers, and wonder when the moment will come, they should remember that legends do not fade. They evolve. Roman Reigns is one of those rare figures who can step away yet still cast a shadow across the entire industry. His legacy is too powerful to vanish. His presence is too iconic to be forgotten. And his story is too unfinished to conclude here. So as the world watches, waits, and anticipates the tribal chief's next move, one message becomes clear: Roman Reigns has not left. He is simply preparing for the next moment where the entire world stops, the arena darkens, and that unmistakable theme hits once again. And when it does, the roar will shake the industry all over again. This is the truth behind the rumors. This is the reality of 2025. And this is the evolving legacy of Roman Reigns. Follow, subscribe, and like.